Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we'll be talking about Bark Avenue. And this is designed by Mackenzie and Jonathan of TerreDice Games, and it is published by Good Games Publishing.
You guys, if you think taking dogs for a walk is just a simple walk in the park, you've got another thing coming. You've got to get pictures of these dogs.
You've
got to take them to their favorite spots.
Favorite spot.
You got to make sure they use the bathroom.
Before they get back to their owner, they'll tip you.
That's right. So, in this game, you're doing exactly that. You have your own business where you are walking dogs. You're trying to make the most amount of money by taking the best care of these dogs, taking them to their favorite spots, roaming all around New York City. All right, let me give you a quick overview of how to play. All right, here's our setup for Bark Avenue. Basically, we have the city of New York on our map in front of us. We have over here the west side, we have the east side, and we have Central Park in the middle. For a 2 or 3 player game, we're going to cut off one of the sides of the boards. So in this case, we're just going to cut off the east side. So we're just going to use the west side as well as the Central Park. At the beginning of the game, we're going to be dealt a couple of these dogs that we're going to be walking. And you can choose one of them to start off with, and that's going to be your starting location on the board. All right, so we've got things like this going on. This is kind of the anatomy of the card. We've got Shadow over here. This is a large-sized dog that's going to come into play for some of our objectives. It's also going to tell you how many times this dog wants to be walked. It's going to take 4 turns in order to walk this dog. This also tells you its speed. In this case, you can move 5 spots per turn. All right, so then over here, this is going to be our tips. This is our kind of our income. This is how much we're going to get if we're going to complete this job. And this is its starting neighborhood, its starting location. Over here, we can also see this is a dog that likes to be around other dogs, and its favorite activity is playing with the ball. So we have a lot of different things going on here on our card. So look at another one over here. This is a medium-sized dog. It wants to be walked 4 times. It can walk 4 spaces. If you ever have 2 dogs at the same time that want to walk 2 different speeds, you go whatever the slower the speeds are from everybody that you're holding. Its favorite activity is going to the fire hydrant. It also likes to be around multiple animals. And this is a star down here instead of a price. What's going to happen with this is a foster dog. When you complete a foster dog, you're going to be able to complete an extra objective. Along the left side of the board over here, there's all these different review stars that you're going to be able to earn. Normally, you can only earn 1 at a time by completing specific objectives. Like this particular one says, take a dog on a solo walk, or maybe you did some training with a treat, or maybe you only walked the dog around its own little neighborhood, whatever the case is. But 1 star is specifically for walking foster dogs. In addition to that, this is the only time in the game where you can actually complete 2 reviews at 1 walk. So you can achieve your foster dog star as long with one other one of your choice. So they might earn you a little bit less money up front, however, they're going to give you more benefits later on. All right, we also have dogs like this. This dog does not want to, it's a small dog, it does not want to be around large dogs. That's something to keep in mind. And then we have dogs that do not like to be around other people. Just one dog by itself, it's just going to be a solo dog. That's all there is to it. It just wants to walk by itself. Remember, there are 3 different kinds of activities that these dogs enjoy. There's the fire hydrant, the ball, and the water park. So that's going to be the 3 things they're going to be trying to achieve on these walks in order to make the dogs happy. So let's say we're going to start with Killian here. Killian lives at 72nd and West End. So that means we're going to put our starting pawn in any of the 4 spots that represents 72nd and West End. Now, there's 2 kinds of spots on the boards. There is the city spots, which are kind of all in the middle here. And then we also have the park spots. Parks are on the very edges of the board, or, of course, Central Park in the middle. Depending on where you start your turn, you're going to roll either the city dice or the park dice. Well, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get our dogs to use the restroom. So if we roll this dice and we were able to roll that symbol, that means we completed our objective of getting them to go to the bathroom. They could also possibly get extra movement or get chased away by a pigeon or maybe even kind of go that bathroom as well. But that's the one we're looking for. That's the symbol that is actually going to get us an extra tip. They're more likely to use the restroom if you go to the park. Across the top of the board, those are all the different dogs that we're able to kind of draft. You have to be in their neighborhood in order to draft them. So as we're walking around, if we go to, let's say, 82nd Amsterdam, that neighborhood, we'll be able to pick up Dexter over here and start walking him. You can only carry 2 dogs at a time at the beginning of the game, but once you've unlocked your 3rd review, you'll be able to start walking 3 dogs at a time and therefore earn a little extra income. You'll also be able to unlock the ability to buy coffee and buy treats for your dogs. So the coffee is for you, obviously. The treats are for the dogs. Basically, what's going to happen is the coffee is going to give you, or it's going to cost you money, but it's going to give you free actions, which is really nice. Each coffee is going to give you 2 free actions you can use once per turn. And over here we have our treats. Our treats also cost $2, but what's going to happen with those, it's going to allow you to break some rules around walking these dogs. Let's say you have a small dog who doesn't want to be around large dogs. If you give that dog a treat, now you're able to break that rule, and that large dog is able to be in the same group as that small dog. We also have our turn track over here. This is basically going to tick down and down and down the further down it goes. Basically, a lot of the times we're going to reveal an event. Events can be a lot of different things. Some of them are good and some of them are bad. For instance, there's these various spots on the board. There's trains. Trains allow you to basically jump around the board kind of using the train tracks, but only when you're not carrying a dog with you. So when you're trying to go find a dog, you can use those trains. Now this allows you to, this pet carrier event, this says you would now take the train while walking dogs. That's a positive event. Or this one allows you to walk diagonally throughout city spaces. However, we also have some negative events. This one says the action of taking a photo of a dog costs $2 now. Usually that's a free action. Then also sometimes you have it's a rainy day, so now you're going to move a little bit slower. So those are some of the actions that you might come across. A lot of times the track will also tell you to refresh the line of dogs here, so that way you're kind of always seeing new and fresh dogs that you want to walk. Towards the end of the game there, it's getting a little bit tight. It's going to be hard to complete some of these objectives and walking these dogs. You're actually going to get a bonus if you pick up these dogs. And then later on, it's going to get harder and harder. Over here, we can no longer deliver dogs. However, there's going to be the opportunity for you to do reviews of coffee shops. That's an additional way to earn some money. Here's our individual player boards. This is what we're going to be working on as we move our dogs around. So when we pick up a dog, we're going to keep our token over here ready to go. Every time you walk that dog or move around the board with it, you're going to be able to move up on this track. Once you've met the requirements on the board, in this case it's 3 walks, you keep on moving that up and up every turn, and then eventually once you've met the requirement, you're going to flip it over. And now what's going to happen is you have basically that many turns in order to get it back home. So that's going to tick back down, and you have to not be late. You want to avoid being late taking your dogs home. Also, across the middle over here, we have the different objectives that we're trying to achieve as well. They're not required, but they do give you extra tips. So, of course, if we're able to get them to go to the bathroom, we'll put that there. Or if we're able to go to a spot where there's a picture spot available, we can spend an action to do that. Or if we're able to complete whatever their objectives they like, in this case it's that water drop, we'll be able to complete that as well. Now, once we return them back to their neighborhood, we get their price on the board, bottom of the board there, as well as $2 for each one of the objectives, each one of the tokens that we've placed. At that point, we're also going to be able to place our review stars. Starting at the bottom, we're going to take one of our stars, and we're going to put it on the board in one of the spots that we've achieved. In this case, we completed a solo walk by delivering Killian. We've unlocked a new action here. This action allows us to walk our dogs by going to the dog park. Or you know what? We've got an ability to buy coffees and treats now. This third review star here allows you to unlock the third dog, so now you can walk 1, 2, and 3 dogs. This action allows you to take an extra action every turn. And over here, we have the ability to get $10 extra, which is really nice for the end of the game. The game is going to end once that turn track has reached all the way to the bottom. At that point, we're going to count up all of our money that we've earned, and whoever has the most points wins the game.
I have started taking games to work to try to learn them, and I punch them all out, and I set them all up, and then I read the rule book, and I actually have to do it in order to learn it. So I brought this one to work, and I punched it all out, and I set it up. For some reason, that lunch hour was very popular, and there was a lot of people in the break room, so luckily we had 2 tables, so I wasn't like in anybody's way. But they're really curious about it, and I was saying you're competitive dog walking, and I said that they could look at the cards because they were interested, so they're looking through all the cards, and they see all these dogs, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is so cute. And then I'm reading the rule book later on, and I'm like, oh, these are all real dogs. And my coworker was like, I knew it. I knew they had to be. The names were too perfect. So that was kind of cool that every single dog you can play with in this game, every single dog that you walk is somebody's actual dog. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I think it's a very cool sign with like the Kickstarter backers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then also another thing about this game was it's big on being a foster parent of a dog, fostering dogs, and so that's kind of within the gameplay, you're incentivized to walk some of these foster dogs because you're going to get extra reviews faster. And that's a big part of this game, being able to unlock these various reviews in order to get extra actions and sometimes points, money. So I think that's a really cool mechanism within the game. But then also at the end of the rule book, there's this whole section talking about some of these real-life cards that were real-life dogs that were all foster dogs. Yeah. And then kind of talking about how you can get involved as well. So I like
the shelter that those dogs were at.
Yeah. Sometimes some of those calls to action like that are over heavy-handed or whatever. This is much more subtle and very cool, and it's something that I think a lot of people can get behind. Yeah,
and I felt like the 2-player version of this game worked out really well. So you have like this whole area that you have to interact with in the park, as you saw, or on the board, and you can only pick up dogs where they live. And so what you're doing in the 2-player, you're just eliminating part of the board, so that way when dogs are coming up, they're only in the area that you have time to walk around and get them back. So I thought that worked really well. And then with the incident cards. It worked really well. You just shuffled them up, and if you ever got one that was 3-player, you just don't play it. You just do the next one. It was really simple and easy to do.
I think this game is going to have a lot of appeal to non-gamers. Maybe some dog owners, maybe people who are actual dog walkers, maybe people who just love New York. You know, a lot of New York references going on here as well. So I think it's got a broad appeal, which is really nice. I will give some caution to those people who are not used to being board gamers, not used to reading longer rule books, things like that. This one can get a little bit involved. This is... There's lots of kind of small, subtle rules that you're going to need to learn before diving into a game like this. So just want to give you that caution if you are not used to reading those kind of signs of rule books. Maybe have someone help you out because if that theme gets to you, you're going to want to play this game. But there's just a lot to absorb before you're ready to play.
Yeah, I thought this game overall was fine. I did think that I took a lot more time in the rulebook than I wanted to be for the type of game that it was. But besides that, I thought the game was totally fine.
I love pick up and deliver style games, and this had pick up and deliver with extra steps in the middle. You had to pick up, then you had to go to these various locations to maximize your money, but also because you had to be out and about for a various number of turns, and then bring them back. And I think you kind of get your most bang of the buck when you had this. You were picking up dogs, dropping off dogs, and you had all kind of the cycle going through. So you had multiple dogs going at a time. I liked it. That was very interesting and intriguing to me. That being said, for such a simple pick up and deliver game, I felt like there was a lot going on,
Yeah.
There's a lot of convolution is not the right quite word, but there's just a lot of steps going on, a lot of different things to consider to makes the simple pick up and deliver into a little bit more that's going to be a little bit challenging for people to sink in. That being said, very cute theme. This is going to be one that I think people are going to want to get their hands on.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see our videos as they come out. Until then, you can find us in all of these places.
You guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
You guys, thanks so much for watching. This game was provided to us by a publisher in exchange for a fair and honest review.
And if you want to see more stuff, check out over here to see something we think you might like.
And over here, we think that YouTube has picked out a great video for you you're going to love. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.